Hey, finally some buzz, some buzzworthy movies. Okay, I've got for you this week Alpha and Omega, the Town, Easy A, Jack Goes Boating, and Catfish. Let me make sure I didn't leave one off. Yeah, Macho, but I didn't see it, so I know nothing about it. All right, so here we go. Alpha and Omega is the latest animation, 3D. The story is that Humphrey, who's voiced by Justin Long, is an Omega. Do you know what an Omega wolf is, guys? Well, you know what an alpha is? An alpha is macho, right? Leader of the pack. Leader of the pack. Omega is the fun-loving, sort of middle child, sort of negotiator. All right, so Justin Humphrey is the Omega, and a little bit turnaround that Kate, who is voiced by Hayden Panettiere, is the alpha. And we're used to saying alpha males, aren't we? Yeah. This is a wolf pack. And the idea is that the two of them are friends, and of course Humphrey has a crush on Kate, but Danny Glover, who plays the dad, says, no, we don't have alpha and omegas mating. You know, an alpha has to find another alpha. And then there is the other pack, from the eastern wolves, who are starving to death, so they come, and there are caribou involved. I got really confused about this. Okay, it's wolves. Okay, we all like wolves. Okay, cute. I think 5-year-olds are going to like this. The problem is that the animation's okay, the drawings are okay. There's an opening scene of a waterfall that's kind of impressive, but the problem is that we've gotten used to thinking of animation as fabulous, sophisticated stuff that'll work for any age, like Toy Story, which made more money not only than any other animation ever done, but more money than anything this summer. So it made like $500 million or some such thing. And this is okay. This is 10 years ago. This would have been considered state of the art. Right now, I think you have to be fairly young to like it. There's nothing objectionable about it. There's just nothing fabulous about it. Too bad. On the other hand, The Town. You've been hearing about this partially because Ben Affleck was the director as well as acting in it, and it's a pretty good movie. It's set in Charlestown, which is in Boston, not Charleston. And it shows the obelisk at Bunker Hill. Basically, I'll tell you what I liked about this movie, what I didn't like about this movie. I like the Boston accents. It tells you in the opening sequence that within 1 square block or something are more bank and armored car robbers than any place in the country. Ooh, pretty interesting. So we know more or less what's going to happen. And Ben plays the leader of the pack. Leader of the pack, that seems to be the theme song today. Who is really fairly civilized as opposed to some of his pack, which are not. And they basically rob banks. And they rob a bank, and they realize that the assistant manager lives 4 blocks from them. So one of the gang members wants to wipe the woman out. But Ben, with his humanistic tendency, says, nay, nay, I'll investigate it. And of course the two of them fall in love. Now, the movie is really, the last 20 minutes are terrific. But the middle's a little soggy. I think it's very hard to direct yourself as well as star in a movie, and we have another example of that this week as well. But I think Ben Affleck is really, to be quite honest, I think he's a much better director than he is actor. He did Gone Baby Gone, which a lot of people liked. I think he has a real sense of how to direct, and I think as an actor, not as interesting. The movie is stolen by Jeremy Renner, who was in Foot Locker, who won. He won a lot of awards. He won some nominations for it, and he is terrific. He is a true movie star. I think that it was, you couldn't really tell because of the part. You couldn't tell if it was him or the part in Foot Locker, and he burns a hole in the screen. He is terrific, and so the movie sort of focuses inadvertently on him, even though Ben is supposed to be the leader of the pack. It's Jeremy that we care about. It's Jeremy that we watch, even though he is clearly amoral. It's a pretty interesting movie. The last 15 or 20 minutes are terrific. The middle's a little soggy, but it's certainly worth your time, and you'll probably enjoy it. Easy A. Easy A is probably my pick of the week, even though you're going to be okay with a bunch of them this week. So let me wander through them with you. Emma Stone is a typical high school nerd that nobody notices until she sort of lies to her friend about a made-up sexual encounter, and is overheard in the ladies' room, and it ends up on Facebook. This is kind of like, let's take all the concerns that Joy Brown has about Facebook and let's put them in a movie and show how dangerous Facebook is. obviously I was not the technical consultant on this movie, but it really points out, as does one of the other movies this week, about the dangers of Facebook. I thought this was a terrific movie. The story is loosely based on The Scarlet Letter because it's got a great cast in it. Amanda Bynes is in it. We've got Lisa Kudrow, who plays the guidance director. We've got Thomas Hayden Church, who plays kind of a hip teacher. Stanley Tucci and Patricia Clarkson play Emma's parents. So it's got a terrific cast, and that's one of the things to really enjoy about the movie is that they were really careful about the smaller roles, and it really kind of sings along. But the idea is that they're studying the Scarlet Letter and Hester Prynne, and once Olive is her name, Pendergrast, realizes that she can't redeem her reputation, she decides to embrace it. And the idea is that she's studying social ostracism in the same way that Hester Prynne had to. So she starts wearing slutty clothes, and she goes and puts A's, Scarlet Letter A's, on all of her clothes. So that's the easy A, get it? Ha ha ha. And then we learn about true love and sluttiness, and it turns out that she really is trying to help people out. I really thought this movie clicked. I thought it was clever and funny, and clearly Facebook was the star of the movie as well. We've got Jack Goes Boating. I saw this as a play, to be quite honest, and I was a little reluctant to see it as a movie because quite often I see a play and I think, wow, it's so terrific, how could the movie be better? But loving movies as much as I do, I hated this play. I hated it. The only thing I liked about it was the lighting, which is not a reason to go to see a movie. On the other hand, I thought the movie was a significant improvement over the play. It stars Philip Seymour Hoffman, who also directed it. So we've got that going on again. We've got Amy Ryan, John Ortiz, and basically they don't even have her listed as one of the things, Daphne Rubin Vega. So this is a movie of, if you're old enough to remember, and I didn't see it the first time either, but Ernest Borgnine playing Marty, kind of a blue-collar working stiff. That's what this is. This is a 4-character play where Philip Seymour Hoffman is a limo driver with John Ortiz, and he's kind of lonesome, and John is married to Daphne, who's kind of slutty in this movie and is having affairs, and introduces her to Amy, introduces Philip Seymour Hoffman, and they're kind of losers getting together and falling more or less in love with the background of this very fiery relationship. As I said, I thought the movie worked significantly better than the play. It's not going to make 48 cents, but if you like, it's good acting. The material I thought was a bit iffy. I think the writing could have been better. But if you like Philip Seymour Hoffman, and I actually went to a discussion about the movie and how he can switch back and forth between being an actor and a director. I don't think it's the world's easiest thing to do. I think most people don't do it terrifically well. And there are 2 examples that you can go and give thumbs up or thumbs down, where in both Ben Affleck's case and Philip Seymour Hoffman, they're both acting, starring, and directing as well. Okay, one more movie, and then you can go to drjoy.com, or Dr. Joy Reviews, or drjoy.com, either one will get you there. Catfish. This is the second movie of the week in which Facebook is the star. This, if I understand it correctly, and I buy it, I know, a little naive, where a guy's brother is filming his, we have Neve, who is a photographer, and his brother is a videographer. And so Neve has been sent a picture through the mail of a pastel watercolor of a photograph he took of dancers that was supposedly done by an 8-year-old. And so they go to Facebook, and it turns out the 8-year-old's mother, his name is Angela, and is very pretty and sends a picture. And then he's also got a 19-year-old Megan, who's very sexy, and they start having kind of a cyber relationship where they talk on the phone and they text each other, and so they finally Neve decides, because he has to be in Chicago or something, that he's going to go to Minnesota and find them. And it turns out that the whole thing, well, I don't want to give away too much. It turns out that things are not exactly what he expected them to be. I thought this, at the beginning, I thought this is a little amateurish, and I don't really care about these people, and who cares about their lives. And then what you see is, number one, how the internet can affect people's lives, how fantasy can affect people's lives, how lonely people can connect with one another and cause each other true pain and true harm. The best part of the movie is the last 5 minutes, where we see the husband, Vince, who is clearly not the sharpest knife in the drawer, explains everything you ever need to know about life in about 4 sentences, and it blew my socks off. I thought this was, so if you'll be a little patient with this movie, if I had to pick one movie this week, I'd probably send you to Catfish, believe it or not. The Town is good, Easy A is really fun to watch, but Catfish is the one that will leave the lasting impression on you. So, you've got Alpha and Omega for kids, The Town, if you love Boston and crime, Easy A, gives you some warning about what to do about Facebook. Jack Goes Boating is probably the artistic one of the week. Catfish is the one that you'll remember. All right, it's a documentary, I think it was real, and the last 5 minutes will blow your socks off. 800-544-7070 if your socks are being blown off by something that doesn't make your feet very warm. 800-544-7070. I'm Dr. Joy Brown.